Blog Talk Radio. Welcome to I Will Restore radio broadcast. The purpose of this program is to empower you to break out of your limiting principles, values, and beliefs to bring you into your desired divine destiny. I'm Minister Vicky, your co-host. Our desire is to help you fulfill your destiny and reach your goals by providing you with tools and techniques to facilitate your spiritual and emotional healing. Now let's join our host, the Restoration Doctor, Dr. D.L. Waters.
We are so glad that you are here. We're excited about what is happening in the lives of individuals as they are listening to our broadcast. They're listening to what is being said, how we are talking about this particular experience of Neville Goddard and how he shares with us how to actually change and impact our lives in a positive and beneficial way so that they are the life that we want to live. We are living the lives that we want to live. And just really, really excited about what individuals are actually writing, how they are communicating with us in regard to this. And I just had a presentation that was done, or an item that was communicated to me in regard to an individual who was watching or listening to the broadcast, and their process, what they actually did, their practice, which we encouraged individuals to have, is that they listened to it in the morning when they got up, and then they listened to it at night before they retired for the night. And they indicated that they were beginning to feel differently. They were beginning to feel differently. Remember, that is part of the process that we are encouraging you to have, is to actually move into the space, that dimension, the I am presence, move into that space where what you are desirous of occurring is already occurring. It is happening now. And then as a result of moving into that space, you begin to feel differently. And that is the indicator. That is the precursor. That is the requirement before you will begin to see things differently and watch as things actually begin to change as a result of the practices that you are doing. And we have said it is not magic, it is mystery. And it is this aspect of discipline or blissipin. It is getting into that space because some individuals actually want magic. They want it to happen overnight, right now. And while that may be possible and could happen in regard to a situation, but it is normally after you have practiced getting into this space, into this dimension for a period of time. And so you lay the foundation so that there can be an instantaneous change that takes place. And indeed, I do know indeed, what we're talking about is really a vertical change. It is not a horizontal. It's not a linear type change that we're talking about. It is actually a vertical change. It is you moving into the now moment, or what the Greeks would call kairos time. It's you moving into that space, into that place, and seeing that. And so this individual writes and says that I not only am beginning to feel differently, I'm beginning to see changes that actually take place in my life. And so we want to encourage you to continue to watch. Take this practice where it is both in regard to talking, listening to the item at night, then listening again in the morning, so that it gets and moves in your spirit, and that you are actually practicing the practices. You're actually doing the things that you are instructed to do. And then you'll be the one that will be writing and saying, again, that calling and saying, emailing and saying that it is changing for me, that my elsewhere is becoming here. My elsewhere, what I thought was going to happen at another time, in another place, my elsewhere is becoming here, is now here. My then, what I thought would happen then, is my now. And so we want to encourage you to do that. And we are just grateful for every individual who is tuning into the program, coming to the program, listening to the program. And then over the course of time, we know that there are real changes that are taking place because you are telling us that it's happening for you now. It's happening for you now. We invite you to even invite your friends, your family, all individuals that you know are desirous of change. And how do you know when people are desirous of change? One is that an individual who is desirous of change, especially if they expect change to happen outside of themselves. There is the belief that individuals have that change is going to take place everywhere around me, but not in me. And they become frustrated as a result of that and then begin to complain. They think that everything else has to change. But one day, Spirit gave me that if I see the need for change, I need to change. And when we translate that into the second pronoun or second person pronoun, then if you see the need for change, then you need to change. And so we want to encourage you to encourage others who you recognize see the need for change and say to them, listen to the program. You would be doing them one of the grandest services, a great favor to encourage them to listen to the program, because what we're doing is, again, taking the words of the mystic Neville Goddard, breaking them down, explaining them, making them easy to digest, little tidbits, little mouthfuls, if you will. We're just bringing you into this of taste and see that Spirit is good, and just bringing you into it and making it plain. And if you find yet even what we're doing here is not as plain as you would like for it to be, then we encourage you again to email us. Email me at Dennis, DENNIS .Waters, WATERS, the number 4, Dennis.Waters4 at Comcast.net, and I will definitely take the time and respond back to you and actually give you additional information. And there are some things that we have that we will just gift you with so that you will be able to bring about the life that you desire, the life that we call your 4D life. And so we are excited, really excited that you are here. This is really the Neville Goddard lesson number 3. It's a 5-lesson series. You can get the PDFs that go along with that, and then you can follow through. We're adding our commentary to it because, you know, I practice this, right? And so it's not just something that I'm talking about. I practice this. I'm practicing this even now at this very moment. Practicing these principles that we are talking about, practicing these principles. And there are things that we are involved with, giftings that we're making in the school systems that we are in the Baltimore area, going to school systems, talking to individuals, young people, and just helping administrators so that they're able to see that there are growth and change and bringing about a better life for our young people in our various communities and everything. So there is not just an individual bringing something into his or her own life, not just your own life, because after a period of time, you know, you're living in as big a house as you can live in. You're eating as much food as you can eat. You're driving as many cars as you can drive. You've got all those things working for you. But after a period of time, you know, you just recognize that you want to bless what you want for yourself, you want for everybody. And there's a way of your being a beneficial presence in the world. So you can play a bigger game. You can be on a larger stage. You can do something for more people. And so we want to encourage you to do that. So it's not just a matter of get. It is a matter that after a period of time, you recognize that you are the gift that Spirit has given to the world. And this is the way to bring forth that gift. And so we want to encourage you again, continue to practice the practices that are being laid out, that are being talked about. Continue to practice the practices, and you make this world a better place. You bring about the change that you're hoping for, that you're believing for, that you are desirous of seeing. You are living your 4D life. And so we want to encourage you again, step into that space, step into that place, make your elsewhere here, and make your then your now. And so we're going to look at this particular item. This particular week, we're looking at this item called Thinking 4th-dimensionally. And I just encourage you to listen and practice what we're talking about here. And I want to say from the very beginning that we're not seeking to be scientific scientifically correct. So there may be all kinds of disagreements as to what the fourth dimension is. But what we're saying is that we're working with psychological states, just 4 different levels of thinking. 4 different levels of thinking. And that the fourth dimensional level that we're talking about, and we'll explain it as we go forward, the fourth dimensional level is a psychological state of enlightened reasoning.